This is a presentation for the Purdue Polytechnic Institute. This is a proposal of the implementation of the PPI and the statewide technology site at Purdue South Bend. First, the question, who are we? We are Purdue Polytechnic Institute Fellows and Associates of Purdue University, the College of Technology at South Bend. We're faculty members in the School of Engineering and Technology, and representing the mechanical engineering technology side of our faculty is faculty fellow Sarah Leach. Electrical engineering is represented by the associates Carl Perusitz, PhD, and John Pillar. Together we hope to begin a transformational change that the PPI is looking to do for higher education here at Purdue South Bend. So this presentation is going to go over what we vision the PPI students will experience. We're going to talk about ABET objectives instead of course-specific outcomes. We're going to look at an idea of what we have for a portfolio, kind of a cumulative record of accomplishments and competencies. And then the overall view of that idea of how to fit in our current plan of courses. One tech course with variable credit offerings, which would allow non-traditional credit to be applied for the degree via those ABET objectives, and the option to take a traditional course each semester also to be able to match those ABET objectives. So ABET objectives instead of course-specific outcomes. Degree requirements will be based on a program outcomes of learning objectives. For accredited programs, the current outcomes and objectives will be retained and only assessment methods will be changed. Faculty will develop a plan of study which describes a path for degree completion, but allows as much freedom as possible by linking the degree objectives and requirements to competencies assessments rather than to specific courses. Each student is responsible for driving his or her own progress towards a degree. The faculty are responsible for meeting each of the student at least once a semester, and more likely once a week within that tech course. But during that, at least once a semester, we'll review a portfolio to discuss the student's progress and plan. A degree will be granted when the faculty agrees that the requirements for the degree have been met. Each semester, the faculty will be responsible for providing feedback to each student regarding the progress and recommendations for the next semester's plan so that we can get a degree completion. The best part of this is if students go ahead and use a tech course during the summer in this method with a project over the summer, we could even speed up the four-year degree into a faster plan. So we mentioned a portfolio, not necessarily in the sense of an art portfolio, but there will be artifacts that are created along the way, and currently our plan is for students to use a web-based portfolio using even the www folder that's currently provided by Purdue as it stands. A place where they can point on their resume to employers of things that they've physically done and have organized in a pattern to show their degree. The PPI is a learning mode or an environment, not totally a set of learning objectives or outcomes. As an example, the ABET accredited programs, none present program outcomes and objectives or course-based learning objectives are changed or deleted. Additional objectives may be added as PPI goals as they're better defined. Learning objectives must be defined in terms of assessment. We're looking at the demonstration of competency, fluency, knowledge, or other appropriate characterizations of mastery. The assessment may be as simple or multi-component. For example, one or more of the following. Perhaps there's a project design, or there's an essay that's written, even a certification exam. Go and take the FE exam, and there's a wide variety of components that are taken care of with that. There's performance and critical reviews, feasibility analysis, presentations, written projects or reports, market analysis, lab reports, submissions of research journals, interpretation of the data, and the creation of problem statements. All these could be used as other ways of meeting the ABET accredited list, so that we fully meet the aspects of the accredited programs that we have before us. Faculty need to be prepared to provide a supporting mentoring role. Now that's the big deal there, while allowing the students to occasionally struggle so that the students can learn through experience. The faculty need to trust in the students that they will be self-motivated and will achieve a mastery through just-in-time learning. One of the goals as the mentor of the faculty member is to make sure that that is happening. We can't get this completion of, oh, it's 1 week before the end of the semester, let's hurry up and get this project done. We need to be active in their learning in that pattern and be intuitive enough to notice what just-in-time learning needs to happen, so that we can pull out, and in that tech course that they teach every semester, go ahead and do a learning objective, for lack of a better term, a lecture, but we don't want to call it that. We haven't come up with a name on that topic, so that we allow the students to proceed in a pattern towards that goal. The student is expected to be proactively planning his or her own learning path. The guidance from the faculty must be frequent and individualized. That's another big deal there. This is the beginning of a student's lifelong journey. The PPI is providing an environment for them to try things, take risks, explore, learn to ask questions, learn how to learn, and continue their journey. So I've mentioned this one tech course with variable credit offerings. The PPI students will enroll in our vision, will enroll in a sequence of variable credit courses, one each term. And again, I say each term because this could be a fall, spring, summer plan. The number of credits will depend on whether or not the student is enrolled in other coursework. They may choose to enroll in traditional coursework to satisfy some competencies or the assessments. 120 credit hours will be required for the degree, minimum. As just a straight fact. The minimum number of credits of 300 and 400 levels will be retained also. The variable credit PPI course could be numbered in a sequence of, let's just call it Tech 101, Tech 102 for the fall and the spring, and then all the way up, 201, 202, 301, 302, etc. Summers could be numbered some other odd number, let's call it 103. But they exist in the credit hour structure just to contain projects or take in other non-traditional credit. Or we have a student that has done significant work in their own job, and they can show those competencies that are required on the ABET accredited guides. The tech course would be the place where Purdue would assess and administer credit for that capability. Each PPI course will consist of open-ended project work directed by the faculty, with assessments dictated by the project type and structure. Faculty assigned to the course will work as a team to mentor the students, providing guidance, instruction, assessments as appropriate. As students gain experience in the knowledge, it's expected that they will become increasingly self-directed in defining their own projects and choosing areas for focused learning. Faculty will be responsible for mentoring project teams and assisting with assessment. Faculty will provide guidance towards successful completion of the competencies and achievements so that the student can complete the degree within the 120 credit hours. What we're looking for this implementation, okay? This is not only what we're hoping to set up this fall 2014, but overarching outside of that. There's a little bit of manipulation that we're looking at doing to just make it work right now in the fall, and then how we're visioning this happening out the line as the further rollout happens. The expectations for degree completion need to be defined clearly so that students can use those expectations to direct their learning strategy for the plan of efficient degree completion. Assessments must be developed or proposed with options for the outcomes and objectives. Some already exist. The outcomes, objectives, and assessments must be decoupled from specific coursework, however. Faculty need to be prepared to function in teams as mentors, to perform assessments, and to guide open-ended projects. Material in the form of maybe example portfolios or some boilerplate portfolios or structures or framework for the students to start building on need to be prepared for use by incoming students to help them understand their role in the learning environment, to assist with starting to build the portfolios. Students need to be able to understand the expectations and requirements. They need to be presented with a big picture, the rationale behind the PPI learning environment, so that they can become active participants. The project must be identified, ready for assignment to the students, and the required infrastructure, i.e. lab equipment, classroom space for project work, etc., needs to be prepared. The tech courses or some alternative placeholders will need to be placed for the project work. The plan of study for any degrees which is available to the PPI student need to be revised to allow for any of all degree outcomes and objectives to be satisfied through PPI courses. This adds the option of using PPI courses but does not eliminate or exclude the present plan of study, which isn't our intent in this. So, what are we looking for in the fall rollout of 2014, spring rollout of 2015? The first step in implementing the PPI learning environment in South Bend, we would like to do the following. Fall 2014, MET 162, MET 144, and ECET 120. Those are a 1 credit hour and 2 3 credit hour courses. They'll be co-listed and team taught. All the students at a minimum will register for MET 162 and then either MET 144 or ECET 120. They can't really double dip. We don't see a way that you could double dip and enroll in MET 144 and ECET 120 to add to your credit hours. The students will meet together and be assessed on learning objectives for all 3 courses. The coursework will be organized around open-ended student-driven projects, mentored and directed by the faculty. The faculty will meet with the students during the class time, and they will also meet as a team to facilitate the project activities, to develop and coordinate assessments. At the end of the semester, students who successfully complete the learning objectives will be awarded credit for the courses that they registered, with a total of 4 credit hours. The reason we're keeping with that is so that we don't mess with the traditional plan, and the version of those traditional courses will show up appropriately on transcripts. The project-driven nature of this effort will require resources beyond the standard course offering, and we end up asking for 1 3-credit course release for each of the faculty that will be involved. That would be Professor Leach, Dr. Prusich, and Mr. Pillar. The additional lab equipment will be determined, and additional equipment to be required to furnish the project lab with the capacity of constructing student projects will be added. Then the next part of this picture is what we do with that same group of freshmen in the spring of 2015. We'll have that group of freshmen look at MET 111, MET 143, ECET 177, and 179 in the fall semester. As in the fall semester, they're going to register for their appropriate courses, the MET courses or the ECET courses, but they're going to be co-listed and co-taught, with the students meeting together and working in teams on their open-ended project. If we do it right, it'll be in addition to the project that was done in the fall and continue through in the spring of some other kind. The courses will meet in the same number of hours, and 3-credit lecture lab courses be scheduled back-to-back so that the classroom time will comprise of 2 4-hour blocks. Upon successful completion of that course, the transcripts again will reflect the appropriate courses so we're not to mess with the student's plan of study. Again, the additional effort is needed, so the 1 course with 3 credit hour release time for each of the faculty is requested. There are not expected to be any new equipment needed beyond the fall. What we'd like to point out is that this is an experiment, and we expect this project-based learning environment to be successful. However, it adds the low-risk capability in the sense that the students receive the same transcript credit that they would have received with the traditional system. The proposal does not require any major administrative approval changes beyond rearranging the schedule to accommodate the merging of the courses and funding of the release time of the equipment. This limited release will provide faculty with an opportunity to learn how to transform their teaching program to one which is fully team-taught, open-ended, project-based, and student-driven. Ultimately, we'd like to move to the full PPI concept described above, but we believe that this will be a very good low-risk beginning. And so with that, I present you with the capability of asking any questions. I've got my email there. Sarah and Carl are available via the PPI website or their standard emails. And if I'm in the Polycom, you can talk me there. So again, I appreciate your time allowing me to make this presentation. Thank you.